Hey Taurus, welcome to your February 2017 General Tarot Forecast. This is Sky, and I'm here to give you guys hopefully a really great reading for your month ahead. Wow, I see that Taurus, things have really gotten real for you guys, haven't they? So much more energy than you guys have been having lately. A lot of your readings in the past few months have been a little bit mundane, have been a little bit day by day. There have been a lot of heavy messages that I've communicated to Taurus ever since when I began my channel back in September. It's been really heavy messages, but at the same time, those messages came through in measured ways, in through small daily things, and it looks like things are really picking up for you guys. It looks like things are really getting bigger. It looks like the universe is really sending in new opportunities, new karmic lessons, really big, grand new experiences. And I know that it's been this way since last month in January, and it feels so different because there's a general energy for all the signs right now of pulling back, of resting, of kind of waning, and that's because we're coming to the end of the astrological new year. We're moving into the Aquarius and Pisces time period, and we're getting ready to start over. We're getting ready for the big shift in energy coming in mid-March when it moves over to Aries. So, but for you guys, it seems like, although yes, it's going to be necessary to have some rest. You've got the You've got the Four of Swords, the Four of Pentacles. So resting, pulling back, it's going to be important for you. But at the same time, there's so much on the table. There's so much risk, it seems like, for you guys. So much unsureness, so much insecurity. Things feel a little bit destabilized for you guys. But at the same time, there's an opportunity to transcend it. There's an opportunity to move upwards. So, let's kind of get into this reading more and see specifically what's going on for you guys. So in the first week, you guys have the Four of Pentacles rooted down by the Seven of Cups reversed. The Seven of Cups has been a big card for you guys for the last few months. I don't remember if it popped up in your January reading. However, it has been here a lot because I remember reading it for you guys different times. And for clients that I've had who have Taurus, the Seven of Cups has played a big role. So the Seven of Cups is all about facing reality, all about facing your idea of reality, because people have fooled you or you've fooled other people. The whole essence of trickery, illusions, non-reality, non-conformity, those archetypes have been very present in your life, whether it's someone has done that to you or you've done that to other people. And it's starting to lose its appeal. It seems like Taurus went through a really traumatic situation in the beginning of 2016, even towards the end of 2015, actually. This has been a long time coming for you guys. There's been something that was really difficult that you went through, Taurus. I feel for you so strongly because I know when I first started my channel and some of the first clients that I took on after starting my channel who were Taurus were really coming back from something big, were really hurting from something, but they knew how to heal and they knew how to disconnect, but they were struggling to merge those energies, okay? And sometimes it seems like when you're in traumatic scenarios like some of you guys have been through, you have to kind of make things out to be a little bit better than they are just to get through your day. It's kind of a reaction to trauma. Sometimes you have to, in order to leave a codependent relationship, maybe you have to convince yourself of a non-reality situation to have the ability to do it. But there's been a little bit of backfire from that, Taurus. A lot of Taurus out there potentially felt that they couldn't be honest with those around them. It's not like you guys were lying or tricking people just for the heck of it. No one does that, but especially you guys. Honesty is so important, being on the Scorpio-Taurus axis, that 180-degree angle in the zodiac. Honesty is emphasized and it's very important. Now, lower evolved Taurus can struggle with honesty. Lower evolved Taurus are very tempted to sometimes sugarcoat things, to sometimes make things out to be better than they are, because you guys like comfort, you guys like stability, and sometimes you would rather not risk your comfort or stability, and you're willing to make things out to be the way that they're not, just so it doesn't threaten your stability. Okay, and that's been a big challenge for you to finally step into a place where you're willing to be honest and transparent with the people that you love, the people that are a big part of your life, and even the people that deserve it from you from the past, without worrying so much about your stability. Because the reason that you went through that traumatic situation The reason you felt so destabilized and had to step into that Seven of Cups difficult energy is because you were unwilling at one point in time in your life to face honesty and truth in fear that it would destabilize you, but it did anyway. Even though it didn't do it in your time, or you were able to control more of the time that it took for that to happen, you still experience that destabilization. Do you know what I mean? That instability. And now you're in a new way facing that again. I feel like you guys have already been through the most difficult part of it, but now you're having to own up to the past. You're having to own up to what happened, or at least face it within yourself. This may not be something that you're very open about with people, or maybe the people that were involved in the situation, you're not really communicating this to them. Because the Seven of Cups also talks about the past. It talks about nostalgia. It talks about, because we're coming from the Six of Cups, right? When that was a happy experience, when connecting with the past was happy. And when we jump into the Seven of Cups, it turns a little bit unhealthy. It turns like making the past out to be something that it wasn't, to kind of justify your actions. That's a big archetype Taurus have been dealing with. And I'm kind of addressing some of the lower evolved Taurus, but you guys who are higher evolved, you're having to deal with this potentially vicariously through someone else. And it reminds you potentially of a time when you were lower evolved, because everyone in their experience, every sign will go through phases of sort of putting out traits of a lower evolved sign or a higher evolved sign. We all do. We all have phases in our life where we exhibit both sides of our sign, so no one can really escape that. But for the Taurus who are feeling better right now, who are more highly evolved, potentially a loved one or a significant other or someone else that is a part of your life is going through a similar situation, and it's really bringing back some of the things that you've already been through, okay? But you're not wanting to tell people about this. It's like you're being withdrawn, because that's the Four of Pentacles. That's the whole idea of holding back, of keeping a secret. And this isn't, again, it's not with the aim to get something over on somebody. It's, again, with the aim to resume normalcy. And I want to encourage you guys to not be so guarded, to not be so withdrawn, because this has happened before and it never plays out well. You've got to step into a place where you can stand in your truth more strongly, where you can be more authentic in your communication with other people, okay? Because you guys are recovering from something right now. Like, stepping into the second week, you have that Four of Swords rooted down by the Five of Cups reversed. And so many signs. The Four of Swords has popped up for like so many signs this month. Everyone's in this phase of recovery. It seems like everyone's in recovery mode right now. Kind of really having to see where their energy lies, having to rest, having to recover, feeling hungover from life. And you're feeling that way during the second week, potentially, Taurus. But it's more intense for you than it is for a lot of people, because you've got that Five of Cups responsible for it. It seems like everything might be crashing down right now. It seems like your relationships, you don't know who to trust. You don't know if you've established the right group of people in your life. If you've surrounded yourself with the right group of people, you're not sure. Part of you is thinking that these people from your past were better, or that a relationship that you had was a lot better than you gave it credit for. And you're taking a harsh dialogue with yourself. You don't know why you let yourself get into a situation like this. And you're just having a major internal struggle coming from the end of 2016 and January. And to me, a lot of you may have moved, or a lot of you may have been through a difficult relationship and just had a very transitory period in your life where you were transitioning to a new phase, and you really propped up this new phase. And once you got there, it wasn't quite what you expected it to be, or you're not just stepping into a place where everything's just magically been fixed for you. And now you're holding that against yourself. Now you're being hard on yourself for things that you've already done. And you guys, you deserve to be happy, Taurus. You don't have to be so pessimistic with yourself. You don't have to feel so hurt over the way that you were to other people, because you can't control other people's reactions. I mean, sure, I'm sure that a lot of you guys could have done better. I don't know. Everyone can do better, but at this point in time, it's done, and you need to move on. You know, your head's in the past, having the Seven of Cups, the Five of Cups, and the Four of Pentacles, and even the Ten of Cups, given the situation. It seems like you can't get your head out of the past. You wish that you could have been better to somebody. You wish that you could have handled things better than you did. And you wish that, in a way, that things could just go back to the way that they were. But I'm here to tell you guys that you're where you need to be. And it's time to forgive yourself. It's time to allow happiness in. A lot of you guys have a beautiful relationship with somebody new in your life. And it's, for some of you, it might be falling through the cracks. For some of you, you might feel like you're losing it, and that's making you remember a previous relationship. And the message is that there's somebody out there just as good, Taurus. You know, maybe you just need to go into a time of being by yourself, of being in solitude, of letting the universe choose what relationships get thrown into your life. It seems like a lot of you guys may have been desperately trying to connect with other people because you don't like facing yourself, because you don't like facing what you've been, what you've done. And maybe you really tried to surround yourself with other people, surround yourself with other people's problems so you didn't have to focus on your own. And maybe you were really quick to jump into a new relationship after your breakup happened, for those of you who did have a difficult breakup, because you didn't want to have to face it. You didn't want to have to face the other person. You didn't want to face what you put them through or what they put you through, or just all those details. You wanted to move forward. But you're kind of stepping into February and seeing how, you know, energies and experiences in our lives, they don't just get cut off. They don't just end. It's like gravity. It's like physics, you know, for every action, there's an equal and opposite reaction. And it's the same for emotions. It's the same for non-tangible physical objects. You know, if you really tried to surround yourself with other people or tried to jump into a relationship after a really difficult relationship ended, expecting that you could just disassociate from it and detach and not have to face it, well, you're going to have to face it 3 times what it was if you let so much time pass trying to distract yourself. And I see that's kind of where you're at in February, Taurus. You're seeing it. You're feeling it. And what I want you guys to do is I want you to sit with it. I want for you to acknowledge that it's there. You know, make friends. Not make friends with it, but socialize with it. Socialize with your pain. Socialize with that thing coming from your past that you just don't want to face. Take some time alone and write your thoughts down about it. Give closure to those who deserve it. It's obvious that there are people in your life that you don't need to be in contact with, that there are people that you have to be a little bit guarded with, and you can't just be your authentic self. And I mean, the message is, you've got to be your authentic self if you ever want to be happy. So yeah, of course you've got to disconnect from those people, but there's a difference between disconnecting healthily and like ixing someone completely out of your life and pretending that they don't exist and pretending that your experience with them never happened. That's very unhealthy, Taurus. And I'm being like the stern spiritual counselor to you guys right now because I have seen so many people in my time of helping people through relationship grieving, relationship bereavement. I've seen so many people just be destroyed by someone who ixed them out completely and pretended that they didn't exist. And that comes back, Taurus. It's like, if the relationship's unhealthy, yes, that's fine. And a lot of people who've been through this situation will say, yes, I knew the relationship had to end. I knew that it couldn't go on. But there are proper steps that you have to take, you know. You have to, giving people closure is a very rewarding experience, especially if they're mature enough to handle it. I think a lot of you didn't think that they could handle it, but you know, maybe that wasn't your place to say for sure. And again, think about this from the other side as well. A lot of Taurus may be experiencing this as well. Anyway, moving on to my point. Giving someone closure is a very rewarding experience. Making sure that the proper steps have been taken to separate from somebody. And this also feeds into that Seven of Cups energy, you guys, because sometimes the reason that this is so difficult is because you make people feel more comfortable and you make people feel like you like them more than you do. Taurus have really been struggling with this lately, where you will socialize with people and be really warm and inviting to them and act like they're just the best thing ever, and it gives them this sort of false sense of security that they have wiggle room in the relationship when you actually don't like them and don't want a future. And then you suddenly like ix them and disconnect from them, and it like destroys them as a person. That's something that Taurus are having to deal with, okay? Maybe this happened to you. Maybe someone did that to you where they made you feel more special than they actually thought you were, or they really made you feel warm for a certain amount of time. And then when you really took a leap of faith, they weren't there to catch you, and you completely hit rock bottom. Does that sound familiar to you guys? Okay. Yeah, you've been through that, Taurus. And you may have been faced recently with an experience where you felt like you had to put someone else through that. That's for a smaller percentage of you guys, but it's just an archetype that you are dealing with. So do take time to sit with it and think about what's fair and what's just. Think about, if you are going through this, think about what you actually deserved. Take a moment to figure out what you deserved. Like, you deserved better from somebody. You deserved closure from somebody. Establish that and pull in somebody from the universe who will give you those things if it ever comes to it. And then on the other side of that, sit down and see how you've been in your relationships. Because if you've drawn in a relationship like that, it's possible that you needed to see it from that perspective. Think about your relationships with the past, with closure, with what you've been through, and see if you've done that to somebody else. And if you need to, make amends for it. I'm not saying that all of you guys need to, but oftentimes when we're going through a difficult experience, it's because we've been on the other side of it, okay? So, but I see you guys really manifesting upwards and really turning the situation into a lot more positive, because moving into the third week, you've got the Empress rooted down by the Magician reversed, okay? This is really good and a little bit difficult in its own way too, but on the positive side of this, you guys have a lot going on for you. You guys, the Magician and the Empress together are great. It's kind of like a yin and yang type of scenario where you have like the masculine ability to materialize, to reach towards your goals, to have energy and push through something. And then you also have the feminine ability to be receptive and passive and allow new ideas in and assume other perspectives. And merging these two archetypes together, you can be really successful with something. For those of you who have creative projects, businesses, these have a lot of room for improvement, for moving upwards, for reaching new heights, which is great for you guys. But it seems like some of this emotional trauma you're going through might be hampering a little bit, might be holding you back. And I think that you guys, again, establishing what happened, being objective with the situation is going to help you. And then it's time to move forward. It's time to really manifest great goals, great projects. The only room for problem I see with this is, again, the Magician reversed can sometimes be lies and deceit, and you guys are coming face to face with it. Maybe someone lied to you. Maybe you're dealing with how to deal with that lie, or you're facing how you deal with that. Do you confront them? Do you tell them or do you give them wiggle room and see if they own up to it themselves? I see a lot of you guys in that place, and I feel bad because it's no fun. And there are other signs going through this right now. This whole Four of Swords, Magician reversed, Four of Pentacles archetype, it's really prevalent this month. So it's like a lot of you guys are seeing truths that you didn't know existed, and it's really wearing you out. It's really pulling your energy down a little bit. And the message is, rest with it, recover, allow this natural phase of waning to happen, because that's the time of year that we're in. But still make your progress. I feel like a lot of you guys may have disconnected a little bit from something that you were trying to accomplish. Come on, Taurus, you guys have so many good ideas, so many good project ideas. You have what it takes to make your own business, to follow through on your creative projects. It's like your head is in the clouds with the Seven of Cups. Your head is you're being completely ruled by your emotions, and don't get me wrong, most people would be, given what you've been through. It's been really up and down for you guys. I don't blame you for feeling this way, but don't lose what you've accomplished. Don't lose your priorities, okay? This to give this to that other person who maybe put you through a difficult situation. What does that do for you, Taurus? You have so much to get from this experience. You have so much to win, so much to accomplish, and it's like you're willing to sacrifice that for this relationship that you went through. And you've got to find what you're made of. You've got to reach down and manifest upwards, okay? Because you're moving into the fourth week of February, and things get so much better with the Ten of Cups rooted down by the Ace of Pentacles reversed. The money might be struggling a little bit for you guys. You have kind of, some of you, your lifestyles and material well-being aren't really connecting well. Some of you may have lost a job or lost a little bit of money. Not this month I'm seeing, but recently. Maybe you didn't get something that you were expecting, or you were a little bit frivolous with your spending, and now it's like your lifestyle doesn't own up to your spending habits. Maybe you were in a really well-paying job for a while, and you chose to start your own business, and that took a lot of overhead, and now it's a bit more of a struggle to make ends meet on the month-to-month basis. But you still want to sacrifice for the lifestyle that you have, like you still want that white picket fence and the really strong, materially stable family life, because that's what you guys rule as a sign. And it seems like a lot of you guys might be spending like a lot of money on your mortgage, a lot of money on a car, a lot of money somewhere that you could be saving a lot if you just like lowered your means a little bit. And some of you may not need to. Maybe the finances are fine and you can still afford it, but you're spending a lot, it seems like. And just make sure that you're not spending to compensate for emotional well-being. Maybe downsizing something in your life could be a really rewarding experience right now, because you guys have really aimed for the stars lately. You guys have really gone through a lot to get where you're at, and it's like that going through a lot and the emotional experiences that went with it, it's like all of this material excess has to do with that, not even that it's what you authentically want in life. So think about downsizing something, even if you can afford everything. Maybe cutting down on the mortgage payment, or cutting down onto a cheaper car, or just looking at a way to save money more, even if you don't necessarily need that. I feel like that could translate into your emotional life, because there's definitely a downsizing that needs to happen there. There's a downsizing that needs to happen in the way that you, in your relationship with the past, with your relationship to the way with somebody from the past. That needs to downsize. That needs to become less of an issue, because it seems like you guys are really isolated. It seems like you guys are really disconnected. And if you're making steps to disconnect and block and isolate people, honestly, you're giving that so much attention. You're devoting your life to that if you have to make such an effort to be isolated, okay? There's kind of a double-edged sword to that. So downsizing in your physical world will translate to that in your relationship sphere, in the sense that maybe you don't have to make so much effort to be isolated or disconnected. Maybe you can just allow other people to, or maybe give other people chances is the better way to put it. And if you find that you still need to block, you still need to isolate, that's understandable. Like, I'm not saying at all to let other people rule you, not in any way. But it's like there needs to be less attention given to perimeters and boundaries to some extent. It seems like a lot of you guys have had a Saturnian type of influence where you've had to set really strong boundaries and kind of compensate for those really strong boundaries by potentially trying to afford a lifestyle that isn't even authentic to your way of being. So do think about those things, and think about how the amazing bond that you have with your family isn't necessarily made by that huge mortgage payment, or made by the really nice car, or made by more physical, tangible things. Like, maybe that bond will still exist and get even stronger if you downsize a little bit. Maybe the bond in relationships will become stronger and easier if you downsize a bit, okay? because that's the nature. You want to set all these boundaries and perimeters on like your budget on relationships, but there's something about that that's not being completely followed through on. You know what I mean? Okay. Because there is happiness to embrace, Taurus, in February, with the Empress, with the Ten of Cups, and some rest and recovery that can be really enjoyable if you let it be. And having the Chariot as your overall energetic theme, it's like you're successful. It's like everything that you're doing isn't that hard. Like the accomplishments on the physical world, they're successful. They're backed up with something that's tangible. And there's swift movement. If you're moving, if you're changing location, it's happening quickly with energy. And you're being taken from like one sector of life. Like the universe is back, Taurus. The universe is on your side again. It's giving you like these chances, these opportunities to manifest in your life, especially in February. So be ready for them. And just don't be hard on yourself. And don't be too hard on other people either. Now's the time to take pressure off, to limit boundaries, to limit perimeters. With people that you know that you can, with people who at some point in time did establish that they were on your side. Okay, so this has been a really great reading for me, you guys. I have an Instagram now if you want to follow it. It's linked in the description box below. Also, it should be popping up on your screen right now. You can book a private reading with me if you would like further clarification. It is the red and green link right in the middle of the page. So also, if you'd like to support to my channel, that's always really helpful to me. You can see that in the cards section. And I hope you watch your sun, moon, and rising sign. I'm rooting for you guys. I hope your month is great. I'll see you in March. Bye.